Lucy LETBY has been sentenced to life in prison and will spend the remainder of her natural life in prison. She was handed 7 life sentences for murder and 7 life sentences for attempted murder against 13 infants. 13 because there were multiple attempts to take the life of one child. So she was found not guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder, and the jury was unable to reach verdicts on 6 other counts of attempted murder relating to 5 other babies. And the CPS reportedly is considering whether to seek a retrial on those charges. Some of you might have wondered and asked the question, the difference between a life sentence and a life sentence that means you spend the rest of your life in prison. Well, in England and Wales, we have a mandatory sentence for murder, which is life, a life sentence. When passing a life sentence, that person will be subject to that sentence for the rest of their life, meaning they can be recalled back to prison at any time to continue serving their sentence. Also, when passing a life sentence, the judge will also specify a minimum term that an offender must spend in prison before they are eligible to apply for parole. And the offender will only be released once they've served the minimum term and if the parole board is satisfied that detaining the offender is no longer necessary. However, the exception to that is as in this Lucy LETBY case here. That is where the judge passes a whole life order, meaning not only is the sentence to last for the rest of their life, meaning there's no minimum term set, they will not be considered for release, and they will spend the rest of their life in prison. A life sentence will always last for life, regardless of a minimum term or a whole life order. And that is the distinction in this case here. I also want to make 1 or 2 additional comments before I close out this video. First of all, there is a video online of an extended debate as to whether or not the jury got this decision wrong. And to anyone looking at that video, I would say, don't second guess the jury, don't jump to conclusions. The jury sat through 10 months worth of evidence, listening to experts day after day, week after week. And they are the finder of fact, and they are the best placed to make those decisions. And indeed, on many counts, they did not reach a verdict. As I said, the CPS is considering whether to retry those counts. And whilst juries can and sometimes do get things wrong and they're overturned on appeal, as in just recently, somebody was released from prison after spending 17 years in prison. As it turns out, he was not guilty. To comment on any such trial here, if you were not the jury and you were not sitting in the courtroom, would be nothing more, with respect, speculation. And a second comment that I would make following the judge's remarks here, where he said, you, referring to Lucy LETBY, acted in a way that was completely contrary to the normal human instincts of nurturing and caring for babies, and in gross breach of that trust that all citizens place in those who work in the medical and caring professions. Now, I can personally say that I have asked questions before now in a hospital setting to check that what's being administered is the correct thing, the correct dose, at the correct time, and in the correct way. And whilst I would urge everybody, of course, that is going into a medical setting for whatever the reason might be, not to take out any anger, prejudice, and frustrations against the medical staff there, but don't feel that you can't ask questions. Most medical professionals that I know, certainly those that I know personally, would be very open to you asking questions. They would be very helpful to explain things to you, and they wouldn't mind you checking certain things that are being administered, in what doses, when and where, how and why. So do feel that you can ask those questions, but don't feel that you should take frustrations out on staff, because that is just going to make matters worse. But I understand that many people will have frustrations, and naturally many people will have strong concerns after this case. So I'll leave you with those thoughts, and I hope this video proved to be useful. Thank you for watching.